Hello, welcome, my friends. What's today's date? 15th of January 2025. Here we are. Welcome. Chat with Matt. Half an hour or so to talk about whatever might be going on. My framing's all a bit weird this morning. Never mind. What's been going on, my friends? I don't think I've got anything written in ahead of time, so I'm footloose and fancy free. I've still been painting the house. It's been an ongoing saga. But yes, I'm getting towards the final stages now, into the nooks and crannies. We had full moon less than 24 hours ago. It was about 21 and a half hours ago, I think. It was the full moon in Cancer, which is the home of the moon. Cancer, sign of water and emotion, and the home. Talking about it was the home of the moon, but it's also considered by many astrologers to represent home for us. Hey, Sister Tanya, I think I saw M Rose as well pop on. Feel free to write something in. So yeah, full moon was yesterday, so we're still feeling the effects of that. It's been a great opportunity to get present with what you're feeling, really. Feel your feels, especially the feelings associated with home or more intimate or more vulnerable to yourself feelings. Awesome time to consider and appreciate or at least accept that you're feeling what you're feeling, and it's not wrong. It doesn't have to stay that way, of course, but so that's the thing. A lot of people think that if you make something not wrong, then it's right, and then if it's right, then you're stuck with it. Bit of a trap, that one. But no, we've had the opportunity to really relax inward. Not so easy to relax because it's been feeling intense, but the invitation has been to relax inward into accepting how we're feeling right now in all of its intricacies and entanglements, and basically just slow down and trust it. Yes, the full moon did look beautiful last night, Sister Emily Rose. We had an awesome sunset as well here on the Kapiti Coast before the moon rose, which was quite pleasant. I was on the roof preparing the area that I'm going to paint today at 9 o'clock last night. But that's just life, isn't it? So Tanya said, grand rising, very average sleep and concentration last couple of nights. Very average sleep and concentration. I'm very grateful for the beautiful sunshine, though. Yes, we have had a few nice days, although it's overcast this morning here. But yes, Tanya's up north from me. What did Em write in? Up here, I was up at 3 a.m, been a while. Yeah, it can be nice up early in the morning to see the moon when it's in its brilliance at night. Can't say that was me. I actually, Marie's coming home today. She's been away for just on a week down at her mother's with the boys. So I've been here on my own, and so I had a look at the shower last night and I thought, oh, that really needs cleaning. So after finishing on the roof, I'd already eaten dinner, by the way. I wasn't waiting for dinner. I was up preparing what I needed to do last night. I then cleaned the shower at about 10 o'clock last night and then went to bed and slept quite well, actually, considering it was full moon. But yes, Tanya said, shit sleeps and hard to concentrate days. Yeah, I can definitely resonate with that. It has been... the moon has been influential, but as always, it's not a bad thing, even though it's uncomfortable. And, we all tend to measure our worth by our productivity. And when it's hard to concentrate, it's hard to be productive. And therefore we feel like we're failing at life and not being good enough. And then, put ourselves in the bucket of wrongness, which isn't conducive to being happy. Whereas if we were to, as an example, accept that it's full moon and we're having difficulty concentrating, we could relax into feeling purposeful in our beingness and potentially just emanate energy of whatever, love, transformation, compassion, and feel okay about it, rather than try to push on and be productive when we're struggling to concentrate, because our minds turn to mush. And our mind turning to mush every now and again is a really awesome opportunity. It's also an opportunity to meditate when we can't concentrate. I know a lot of people think you need to be able to concentrate to meditate, and that to meditate you need to concentrate on your breath, but it's not that sort of type of concentration. It's actually, it's a choice to maintain awareness of the breath, not really to concentrate with any intellectual power. The whole idea is to get beyond the intellect and its tenacious grip on wanting to understand everything and predict everything and plan everything, so that we can settle into a deeper, I could say, feeling state or heart-based state of presence. That's really, where in my opinion, the gold of meditation lies. Hey, Sister Julie Ray. M. Rose said, home, I'm dealing with mold. Oh yeah, that's a bugger. Mold, hoping I don't need to move anytime soon. It's been calming to have to do wall washing and organizing. So much is processing for me emotionally. My body is like a rock many times a day from waking. Yeah, I get it, Em. There's can be real therapy in, chop wood, carry water, wash walls, and especially can be useful that we're forced into doing it, because otherwise we tend to go down other avenues. But yeah, mold is an interesting one, and an interesting analogy for what you're cleaning away. Mold really has that sort of death-like. I don't know why molds and funguses are associated with death, other than the fact that they do a pretty good job in diminishing our own health. But yes, mold really represents decay, and to be cleaning it away is an awesome thing to be doing at this time of year, in terms of the analogy of what's going on internally, energetically for you, and for all of us, really. So that's interesting. But yeah, I don't wish house mold on anyone. It can be very, very debilitating, for the health in general. Definitely one to be careful with. Not fearful of, but careful with. How do we be careful, full of care, without being fearful, full of fear? That's the point. M said, I've heard about how we pick up in their vibes as they die. It's very interesting. I even feel guilty for a bit, like they are going, no, Em, just spraying bleach on them or something similar. Hydrogen peroxide is very, very good for killing mold, by the way, and not nearly as toxic for us as bleach. Bleach being chlorine, hydrogen peroxide basically being water with an extra oxygen. So what's the worst that can happen there? Yeah, it can burn your skin and burn your eyes, and not great to inhale too much of the vapor. But as residues go afterwards, after it's done its bit and the oxygens come off the water and oxidized the mold or any other pathogen that you're trying to kill or clean, then it's harmless, as opposed to bleach, which is chlorine gas, and chlorine is quite toxic. Hence they put it in our water supply. Yeah, to kill all our gut flora and make our tummies quite a difficult place to survive if we drink chlorinated water for our beneficial bacteria. Which then opens up a space for non-beneficial bacteria such as candidas and stuff, yeasts and stuff, to survive and thrive. So Go figure. Let's just put some more chlorine in our water along with the fluoride. But yes, no, don't start me down that path. But yes, bleach is not a great product, but hydrogen peroxide, much more natural, much more useful. Although it comes with all sorts of warnings about how bad it is for you, it really isn't. But you do have to be cautious, right? It is a very, very strong oxidizer, especially if you get the strong stuff. But 3% hydrogen peroxide is very, very safe and easy to use, and a very, very versatile cleaning product and health product. Very good for putting on cuts, grazes, etc. as a disinfectant as well. Anyhow, that's Dr. Matt for now, or Housekeeper Matt, with some advice on natural cleaning products. Getting back to spirituality, hey brother Glenn, what do you guys want to talk about other than cleaning away mold and the full moon, which was in Cancer and has stirred up some feelings of that have been quite close to home, so to speak, for many of us, which is useful, even though obviously most full moons are not so comfortable due to the intensity and feeling a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit out of control, which we were just talking about as well. How, staying in control is not a precursor to staying safe necessarily, right? I know that's what we think. Sorry, I'm just smiling at a cockatiel who's looking in at me quizzically. We think that to stay safe, we need to stay on top of everything mentally, intellectually. But in my opinion, it's not so true. And we can do quite a good job of staying safe if we stay more relaxed in our intuitive knowing than stressed in our intellectual thinking, concerned about potentials that may or may not occur, tends to create states of stress which then induce a perception, at least, that bad things are happening, right? Because when we go into stress, just to tell you for the 100th millionth time, nothing like a little exaggeration, when we go into stress, we're much more likely, we're biologically predisposed to seeing things as a threat, right? It's biologically measurable that when we're in a stress state, we're 7 times more likely to see a threat than we are an opportunity in any given situation. In any given situation, right? It's not that we find ourselves in threatening situations, it's that we perceive every situation from a point of view that it's more likely going to be threatening than not. And so we're on lookout for danger when we're stressed, and therefore we see it. What you go looking for, you find, generally, right? That's how humans are. We're very good at finding evidence to validate our perceptions, right? Our primary perceptions are validated because we're looking for evidence to do so. And so that's why we keep saying relax, 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 because when you're relaxed, you're much more likely to see the world as a safe space, and therefore it becomes safe for you, and you actually start thriving and enjoying life. And when you are stressed, you're more likely to see the place as threatening, and therefore find yourself fighting the world and in suffering. It's as simple as that. And that's why investing your time in doing practices that help you to relax, and when I say relax, I don't mean, oh yeah, I'm going to spend all day lying in a hammock drinking pina coladas, although that is one way to relax. We're talking primarily about turning off your stress response, so that you're in rest and digest, which doesn't mean doing nothing. It just means you're not stressed with what you're doing, right? You can be quite busy and be relaxed, right? Have a relaxed nervous system, and therefore a relaxed endocrine system, hormonal system, and you're not full of stress hormones, which influences your brain and your mental predisposition to seeing danger everywhere. So yeah, that's primary advice 101. Relax, right? Do what you need to do to maintain a relaxed nervous system. I don't care how busy you are, how urgent the things you've got to do are, still do them, meet those requirements, but don't get stressed doing it. Society doesn't teach you that, by the way. Society entices you to be stressed. You know, there's this perception out there that when you're stressed, you become more productive, right? That you get hyper focused on getting shit done, and you become determined and all of that stuff. And while there is a level of determination that comes with stress, it's not that productive, especially in the longer run. So initiating a stress response is not helpful in any way to anyone, unless you are faced with real imminent danger and you need to fight or run to save your life, right? Then stress is very, very useful, and embrace all of that adrenaline and cortisol and use it wisely at that point, or use it unconsciously, which is what the stress response is designed to do, right? Take you out of thinking so much and into pure reactivity, reacting to sensory stimuli and fighting off danger. So yes, not that the stress response is wrong per se, it's just that it is greatly overused in our modern society, and unconsciously so. Most people don't even recognize that they're in a stress response. They don't recognize that their hearts are racing and their stress hormones are affecting them so much. Generally, they've got to the stage where they're using all sorts of products, whether caffeine or nicotine or something, to allow them to still keep functioning in this level of stress. And, you know, they're basically burning the candle at both ends, in terms of degrading their health. Taking a whole heap of stimulants to keep themselves going, and then taking a whole heap of relaxants, e.g. alcohol or something like that, in the evening to help them get to sleep. And then wondering why something serious happens with their health at age 42 or something, or even younger. Anywho's, don't do that. Relax, right? Do what you need to do to relax. Prioritize your relaxation. And be present and enjoy the fact that you're here, right? The world keeps telling you that you're should be fighting and struggling and striving to succeed, because then you'll be happy, but it's not true. Plenty of people who succeed with everything that the world tells them they should do are not happy in their success. And so choose your happiness, and then live life presently from a space of happiness, without all of this need to succeed. The irony is, when you relax into your happiness, you become very, very successful at a lot of things. You don't become a lazy bum, and you don't give up on trying hard. You actually find deeper reasons to try very hard to achieve things, but it's not from a stress state, and it's not from a needy space. It's from passion and love and joy, and the desire to see the outcome for the sake of the outcome, not because you think that if you succeed you'll be happy, or you'll be your status will be raised and other people will appreciate you, or whatever else it is that you sort of equate to happiness, without the actual sort of happy joy idea. Am I still seeing my comments, or have they gone away? Maybe if I have a look here. I was kind of hoping someone was going to take me on a path. No. So yes, what else, my friends? So we're into the last phase of our lunar year. Now that we've passed the full moon, next major lunar event will be the new moon, which is the end of this lunar year, which was the year of the dragon, and the start of next lunar year, which in Chinese astrology is the year of the snake, the wooden snake, I believe, the wood snake. So that will be interesting. So yes, we're winding up this cycle. Which is why I say January is always an interesting month. Well, while we've started our new Gregorian year, much of the world has not started their new year yet, and won't do so till generally it's the first new moon of the year, unless we have a new moon very early in January, in which case it's usually the second new moon of the year. But sometimes around the end of January, start of February, we have the new moon, which is the start of the lunar year, and a lot of the world celebrates that. And so energetically, this month of January still has a lot of endings occurring, a lot of winding up energy, which can be frustrating if you've really made strong resolutions to begin something new and to start fresh with the start of January. It's difficult, so be compassionate. It's not that you shouldn't try and start new things in January, it's just that you should be. It would be useful for you to be mindful that January generally is a very choppy month energetically, and things don't settle down till we get into February, and even more so March and Easter around the equinox is much, generally speaking, much more settled energy for achieving things. Not to say that you can't achieve things now, by the way, just generalizations and what the energy supports generally, so that you can be a little bit more compassionate with yourself, and work in a way that's a little bit more I don't know what word I'm looking for here. All sorts of words have flashed through my mind, like sensible and stuff, which I don't like using very much. But you can work with your way in a more compassionate, and when you have realistic expectations of what's likely to be achieved. See, the point is, you're not wasting your time when you try and achieve something and fail. That's a lot of people really, try and avoid this failure experience and try and make sure they've got all of their ducks in the row before they attempt to do things. They want to make sure, how can I be sure that it's going to work? And it's kind of like, expecting it to work first time is folly. There's a bloody dog now. Hang on. Wait. Go on. Not often you see a dog in our backyard. I think there's some tradesmen working over the road. So, and J. Ray said, helpful. Why areas of interest or calling feel tricky to get momentum? Yeah, exactly what I've said, because there's a lot more finishing up going on than momentum energy present. So, as I was saying, don't give up on making forays into new beginnings, but just be okay with the fact that you might not get that much momentum, and it might feel quite frustrating. It's only frustrating because we've in this mentality that if we try something, we should succeed at it. Otherwise, it was a failure and a waste of time. This whole idea of wasting time because you didn't get the outcome. We're here to have experiences. We're not here to have outcomes. That's the point, right? And I know we all want the experience of being satisfied with the outcome. But on a soul level, on a deeper level, there's a lot of benefit in the experience of trying things that don't work out, and finding the tenacity to keep working through that and to gather more information about what we're interested in the experience of failing to achieve what we were hoping to achieve. So don't be so hard on yourself in this idea that it's supposed to work out, otherwise you're not a good person. You failed to achieve it. You've had an experience, and that's the main thing. The worst thing you can do with your human life is to sit idle waiting for everything to be perfect before you try, because then you won't have any experiences, right, other than the experience of being bored and procrastinating, etc., which I guess is a valid experience to some degree. But I think most of us have had more than enough of that experience over the last few lifetimes. So now's the time, really. It's always the time to be willing to act, but just don't maintain these expectations that you're supposed to succeed first time that you act in a certain way, or even 10th time, be willing to take actions and enjoy the consequences, even if it's not the success outcome that you desired. Em said, it's great to let go of so much resistance. The way for me was going into it for sure and through bit by bit. Going into it for sure and through bit by bit. Yeah, exactly. Going into it for sure and through it bit by bit. That's it. We have to be willing to step into the breach, if that's the right term. Step into the arena, even though we're not ready. You will never be ready. People want to wait on the sidelines till they're ready to go in the first time and succeed. It's folly. The only way we get good at doing things is by practicing. The only way we can practice is to actually try. And usually practice involves, with just about everything, failure experience, right? You want to learn the piano, you have to practice. The practicing means you're going to hit the wrong notes. Every time you hit a wrong note, it's not that you're a bad person. It's that you are still practicing getting your fingers to move in the way and to learn where the keys are. And it takes practice, right? We all understand that with playing the piano. Well, doing life is exactly the same. You know, doing relationships is exactly the same. We have to be willing to practice. And that means we're going to hit the wrong notes. And rather than get all down on ourselves and not want to do that again, we just have to suck it up, right? That this is life, and just be humble in how we, let go of this false pride that, we get everything right, or we should get everything right, or good people get everything right. It's like every successful person, the most successful people on this planet, are ones who are willing to make mistakes very, very regularly and keep going, right? They just learn from their mistakes and try again. That's the point, right? So Em said, don't resist the resistance has been a big lesson. Yeah, exactly. Don't make the experience of resistance wrong. We all have resistance. None of us want to make mistakes. We've all been programmed into the wrongness, the badness, right from our schooling when we were a kid. If the teacher called you out to do something and you made a mistake, it was quote unquote bad. It was a bad experience for you. You were ridiculed to some degree or shamed in some way, rather than lovingly encouraged. So in general. So, and this is systemic throughout our society, that good people get it right, and people are celebrated for their successes and their achievements, not for their experience in moving forward. Em said, I can be so good at resistance, it takes a while to notice I'm acting from it. Yeah, it is. In general, humans are very good at disguising their resistance and coating it with sensibility or logic, right? We feel resistance and then we make an excuse why we shouldn't do something, a logical excuse that seems plausible and real enough that it makes sense that we don't try right now. It's not the right time. It's full moon right now. I shouldn't do this. Oh, Mercury's in retrograde, or whatever. Right? We can make all sorts of excuses. I'm not ready. Excuses to avoid the realization or the acknowledgement that I'm scared of doing this. Basically, I'm in resistance to this for whatever reason, and I might not even know the reason. But just the awareness that, I'm resisting doing something, whether it be having a conversation or trying something new or whatever it might be, making the phone call, I'm resistant. And then just lovingly helping ourselves through that experience rather than making an excuse with our mind to justify the resistance, which isn't really the reason why we're resisting, Generally, we have this resistance because it's based in some past life trauma that's influencing us in a way that's not that what's the right word? Applicable in today's energy, right now in this situation. but something has triggered you into that experience. Anyway, my friends, that's pretty much my half hour. Thank you so much for joining me and encouraging me to have a little rant, a little processing for myself. This really is, part of my therapy for the week to get on and express myself without thinking too much. Always nice, and to do it in a public forum helps me to get past my resistance to being seen. So that's useful. So thank you very much. Audience is always appreciated, and feedback is always whatever. Encouraged was the word I was looking for. Tanya said, I feel calmer after that. Perfect. M said, yep, and often it's led me subconsciously, and my body creates pain, so it's easy to believe I can't and shouldn't. Yes, M's talking about resistance, right? So the resistance subconsciously creates a pain in the body, right? Because that's what resistance does. Resistance creates contraction, and contraction creates friction, and friction feels like pain when energy moves, right? So it's very, very simple energy mechanics. Resistance creates pain in the body, and people who are sensitive, like Emily, feels it more intensely than most. And so that's it, right? When we go into resistance, it creates a stress in the body. The stress creates a pain. The pain is then used as justification why the resistance is appropriate. And then we get stuck in that freeze sort of response or inertia place. Awesome. I'm glad it helps. That's the main thing. Tanya's going to make some calls she's been avoiding. Perfect. I'm going to get back into painting, and hopefully the weather holds out because it's looking a little bit cloudy and overcast here. NM said, and I don't just feel it, my body acts it out. So it's real in my experience. Yeah. And, what's the difference between a feeling and muscular contraction? It's kind of all the same, but I get it, M. Awesome. Glad it helped too, Julie Ray. Much love to you. And hopefully you are wintering okay up there in the cold. Anywho's. Talk to you next week. Bye for now, my friends. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free. You can either put it here if you're watching this in replay, put it here in the comments, or write to me, email, whatever. Here to help. Much love. Bye for now.